each and every one of you catch the spirit of the vision tonight, because tonight is very, very essential to your next level of elevating. And so, with that being said, if you are excited about your personal future, I need you to drop an 888 in the chat. I need you to drop an 888 in the chat. If you are excited about your personal future, I need you to drop an 888 in the chat. So we're understanding this, that the vision is clear. I want you to write this down. I want you to write this down tonight. I want you to put this in your heart tonight. I want you to put this in your heart tonight. You know, our purpose, the BYOB, this is the largest economic empowerment movement in the history of mankind. And why do we say that? Why do we say that? Because we want you to be able to take advantage of, no matter where you are, your trading style or any of that, and you're in a position where you learn this skill set at such a level that no matter what's happening in the marketplace, you're able to excavate the land and go into the market and funnel as much of the revenue that's generated into your personal household, your community, your place of fellowship. And why do we call it the BYOB Bank mantra? Why do we call it the BYOB Bank movement? Think about it. There are many ideas that each and every one of you have. There's something that you're tremendously passionate about. And this vehicle is designed to put you in a position where whatever your dream is, you're able to fund it. I want you to capture that essence of what I'm saying tonight. What is that thing right now that if money was not an issue or concern for you, what would you really be doing? What would you really be doing? And then guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If you do what we ask you to do, and you think about today's date, April the 15th, 2021, traditionally tax day. But this is your liberation day. This is your liberation day. This is your personal liberation day. So if you wanted to be financially liberated, first and foremost, and you're ready to draw a line in the sand tonight and say, you know what, as Popeye would say, I've done all I could do, and I can stand, I can't stand anymore. You know, you're eating your spinach tonight, and that Brutus, whatever's hindered you, you're eating your spinach right now, and you're going to take ownership of where you are. If that's you tonight, before we get started, I need you to drop a 555 in the chat. If you're ready to take all of that spinach and turn it into financial manifestation and transformation, I need you to drop a 555 in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're feeling the essence of my heart tonight. I'm so excited about where we're headed. There's some things that we're going to be rolling out here as our BYOB family. You are absolutely in for a treat. I can assure you that everything that we do it with you in mind. You know, our spirit of excellence. And we're going to be here shortly releasing our next rendition, our book entitled Everything in Excellence, Enhancing the Edge. And we're doing everything to make sure that we reflect who you are in what we do. We reflect who you are and what we do. And we're here to serve. So tonight, I want you to take on the mantle that no one is going to outserve you. And when I say serve you, that simply means you now have information that you need to serve to your friend, neighbor, and relative. They need to be made aware of that, because there's a lot of information out there. People are getting excited, but a lot of them are doing it without the education. And they're hearing it by hearsay. And now you have the responsibility, because of what you're receiving, to ensure that they personally have the ultimate success. So if you have some individuals that's in your sphere of influence, and this conversation is on their mind, I'm going to encourage you for the next 7 days to make sure that they are in this environment. They're on our profit calls. They're on our BYOB market talks. And every opportunity you can to infuse them into this culture, this community of success, then I want you to take ownership and make sure for the next 7 days, the next 7 days, how many people, lives can you personally impact and become a significant point of reference because you share some information that is bringing value to your personal household. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I salute each and every one of you. So we're going to dive in tonight, but without that, let me do this. Let me properly turn this call over to someone that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. This individual, since we have met, have literally just I've had the pleasure of seeing her involved into absolutely one of the greatest minds that I've ever had the opportunity to work with personally. This individual has all the information, knows how to have a lot of fun. But without any further, I'm going to turn the call over to our coach and mentor for this evening, none other than the trade whisperer herself, hailing from Jacksonville, Florida, Miss Tasha M. Dyer. Miss Dyer, are you on the line?
Absolutely, absolutely, I am. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome to BYOB Market Talks. And you've been hearing from the visionary himself. That's who you've been hearing from. And I already know you are excited. And now you're definitely sitting in the right energy, no matter how you join this call, no matter where you were at, now you're in the right energy. And we just want to take you to the next dimension. We have had a wonderful week in the market, and I mean wonderful. We have definitely made some money, right? We made some money. We've had a great time. Your education, your skill set has increased. I see that yes in the chat, so that education, that skill set, all of that has definitely increased. And this has been a wonderful, and I do mean wonderful week. And so for those of you all, yes, amen is right. So for those of you all who are just joining us, right? For those of you all who are just logging on and was not on at the beginning of the call, right? What I want you all to do is continue to drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from, along with your affirmations, as I get my screen share and everything together. And so I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate that more than you know. So now, as we're doing that, okay, as we are, diving in, what I want you all to do, like I said, so let me see. I see you all worldwide. I'm not going to go through it like I normally do, just because I want to go ahead and dive in. I feel like I have some information that I definitely want to give you all this evening. But I do want you to focus on those affirmations, guys. I do want you to walk in those affirmations and tell me, what are those affirmations, right? What are they? I am a BYOB master trader. I am the signal. All my trades in profit. I am 777. Now, what is 777? 777 reflects what we've been doing this week, right? 777 reflects what we've been walking in. That's what that 777. Well, thank you. Your trading has taken us to another level. I'm so grateful for you. You guys, I love you all already before we even get started here tonight, right? Definitely. And you saying I'm the best. I love you all. So now what we also want to walk in, and what we also know, is that an educated trader is a profitable trader. And I want you tonight to really understand why that's important and why that's what we walk in with Be Your Own Bank, because an educated trader is a profitable trader. And so for those of you all who are new to us, right? Those of you all who are new to us, let me get a 111 in a chat, because I really want you all to understand the conversation that we're having this evening. And if so, hey, good evening. I see you on the YouTube as well. So I definitely want to make sure that we acknowledge you all and really walk you through. And if you are still learning how to cash out, right? If you're still learning how to cash out, let me get a 222. So 111 in the chat if you're new to us this evening, and a 222 in the chat if you are still learning how to cash out. So now, with that being said, let me go ahead and get my screen shared together. And as I do that, I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to talk to you about what we're going to talk about tonight. Because if you're in a Telegram chat, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and say this up front because I want to make sure that I do not forget. If you're in a Telegram chat, you probably see, the screenshots, the setups, you see all of that. But if you're not in a Telegram chat, you need to get in a Telegram chat. And so our Telegram, for those of you all, if you're not on Telegram, you need to download it, and you need to download it right now. But you want to get involved, you want to be plugged in. You want to see individuals like yourself that is definitely having success. And so that Telegram is Be Your Own Bank, BYOB Cash Out. So if you open Telegram, you search it, you're definitely going to be able to find that. Now, Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you go on YouTube, I will drop that in there, but you want to stay plugged in and you want to stay up to date. So I definitely want you all to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that is Be Your Own Bank Movement. But I'm going to definitely drop the YouTube channel in there, and that's BYOB. All right. So that's the BYOB, that's the YouTube channel, but it's Be Your Own Bank Movement. Okay. Don't forget the movements. So you want to make sure that you drop all of that and you're plugged in. And so tonight we're focused on education. And as we dive in and as we begin to understand this, the importance, and thank you. So both of them are in the chat for you guys. So as we dive in and as we understand the importance behind the education, and as we understand the importance of why I want you all to understand why we're doing this, right? I want you all to understand why we are doing what we're doing with the setups and the screenshots. And education, as far as building your wealth and being able to walk away with that, is so important. And this is just the power of, what is called the collective consciousness, because Mr. Rogers opened this call and he just mentioned some things, but we had not had a conversation tonight about what training is about. We had not had a conversation. And so that just shows you the power of how we vibe together in order to empower you. Because I have this set up where we're definitely focused on the education tonight. So tonight's training is about you being educated, right? And so this month, it's all about being focused, right? We're definitely understanding that we're being focused this month. And so understanding even tonight's training specifically is about you being educated and the importance behind that education. And so where I'm going to begin tonight is we're going to talk about this platform. Then also we're going to talk about many other tools that are in the platform, but I'm going to talk about the strategy and our homework. And I'm only going to mention them. So not diving into training on them, because it's about you and you being educated. So you understand why this is ultimately so important. So now this is a premier tool, and you'll understand why tonight. You'll understand why this tool is so very important. Now, all of the tools are helpful no matter how you like to trade, what you're looking for. I mean, we've been on here, and probably next week we'll go back into, the HFX swipes, the swipe trades, the coin, the swipe coins. We'll definitely talk about all of those, right? I definitely want you to understand how to utilize those things and how to be empowered behind it. But this is a premier tool, and this is a premier tool because it allows you to be able to analyze and see the market. You just have to have the proper education and foundation for you to be able to understand that. And also it scans the market, does the heavy lifting for you so you can find those high probability trades. And this tool has ultimately also been vetted by the banks. And so I'm gonna start here tonight. I'm gonna start right here. And this is our visionary, Mr. Rogers. So I'm definitely going to start right here. And he's a spokesperson for this tool and hit your background in investment banking. So I really want you to understand the significance behind why we do what we do. So I'm gonna play this clip because I already know what you do. You log on and you keep going. You click go to app, or you log in through im.center. So just kind of want to dive in here tonight and give you this. Let me do this. Oops, I did it wrong. I did what I said you do. I wanted you guys to watch it. You might watch it.
Folks, I'm just absolutely amazed to know that I'm a part of an organization looking to empower and impact lives across the globe. I've been in this space for over 20 years, commercial banking, lending, and when I look at the web analyzer in comparison to what the big banks of the world utilize, that web analyzer is the equivalent, far exceeds the expectation that I was anticipating after having that experience on the investment market. So folks, for those of you who don't understand the magnitude of what you have your hands on, I encourage you, I challenge you to take a deeper dive and realize that really you have in your own hands to become your own bank and allow us to be your partner to empower you economically, financially, and leave a true legacy.
So wow, you guys see that? So this is why we're always on a vibrato. of course, it's an added bonus and an added benefit that the strategy I created, the BYOB cash out strategy, is also in this tool. And so now it's housed in here because of what the tool is, but we're going to talk about the strategy. And then, of course, we're going to kind of walk you through some things. So let's start here. Let me see here. Let's see. Oh, we might actually, are we going to have a trade on the training call? Is that possible tonight? So what you're seeing, I'm gonna walk you through this. So I just look, you have your time frame confluence. So let's go for those of you who walk with me on a regular basis. So you say, you see it, you see it. All right, so let's walk through, because we do have some 111s on here. And I always wanna make sure, even if you're a 222, you have complete understanding of how this works. So here we are, let's walk through the strategy. Questions, comments, testimonies, how that works is you drop it in the chat, okay? Drop it in the chat. And I want my 777 when you drop this in the chat too, when you guys take profit. I want my 777. We're making money on the trading call. I love it. All right. So now here we go. 3 indicators. All right. We have our stochastic, we have our Hikanashi candles, and we have our PSAR, right? So we have our stochastic, we have our Hikanashi candles, and we have our PSAR. So I'm going to show you, this one is actually manifesting right now. And then over here is where you saw one that has already taken place. I don't want to mess with this consolidation. Don't really want to touch that. You see, I'm on a 15-minute chart. We always begin on a 15-minute chart. Now, let me explain why. So our 15-minute chart is our foundation, right? Our 15-minute chart is where you begin to learn. Now, we're talking tonight about your education. And so as we're talking tonight about our education, one of the things that, I definitely want you all to understand is that it's important to know how the market works. So 15-minute chart is for you to dive in, for you to get your feet wet, for you to understand what's happening, for you to be able to grab some pips and get out. But in order to build what you're looking for, right? In order to build the wealth that you desire, you're going to have to learn, get a little bit deeper and learn the skill set, okay? And that's why we're focused right now on that, okay? We want you all walking away with that. Now, here we are, stochastic, blue line cross over the red, green candle, flat bottom, PSAR flip to the bottom. Now, what you're looking for is flat bottom candles, okay? Not candles with a wick in it, like this one had a wick in it right here, okay? That's what you're looking for, okay? So you're looking for those flat bottom candles, flat top candles. So if I'm selling, now my stochastic runs from the 20 to the 80. If I'm selling, it needs to be around the 80, curved down for a sell. If I'm buying, it needs to be around the 20, curved up for a buy, okay? Those are the things that I'm looking for, all right? That's ultimately what I'm looking for. Now, blue line cross over the red in a downward momentum, blue line cross over the red in an upward momentum. So if you think about it, just think top, 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 bottom, 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 right? Or even right here, bottom, bottom, bottom. So we're over here. So I'm gonna put an arrow over here so we can kind of walk through this one. Now, if I recall, what's the date on this one? Oh, that's today. So, what do you want to call this morning? Because we saw that happen. We actually saw that happen. So you say you've taken a trade with a flat bottom candle and it turned into a wick. What does that mean? You don't have confluence. You're operating without time frame confluence. So am I accurate in my analogy? So, or if you're trading around the news or something of that nature, but I can almost guarantee that you didn't have confluence. So no, don't. I'm just saying, like that's the answer. So if you're not allowing the trade to set up, then that's ultimately what's going to happen. And we actually had a really perfect example of that this morning. And it doesn't happen often, but when it happens, I'm glad it happened so I could walk you through it. So that's what we're looking for right here. Now, you said I'm right. See what I tell you. So now as I'm looking right here, so now what I'm doing is I want to make sure that you guys see it. Now, I'm gonna put an arrow here. When you're trading, please do not drop an arrow right here because you're going to impact your pip reaction time, okay? You're going to impact your pip reaction time. That's what you're going to do. So but I'm showing it so you can see where we are and understand when we do our time frame confluence, nothing but space and opportunity over here. Nothing but space and opportunity over here. You don't know where these candles are going. That's what we're analyzing right now. So it's nothing but space and opportunity. So I don't need an arrow. The arrow is for training because we're about to flip this, okay? We're about to flip this. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one right here as well when I drop this one right here because this pullback tells me we probably did not have confluence. I'm saying probably because I haven't looked at it yet. So now let's go up here to the hour. Haha, I was right. So I go up here to the hour. And when I go up here to the hour, now look at this, okay? Look at my stochastic. My stochastic is definitely not, we had a crossover and cross up, but then it started curving back down. And what we also have been learning since we've been really diving in and analyzing this on our profit calls, right? Since we've really been diving in and analyzing it on our profit calls, that you guys have been able to start seeing that this crossover and cross up is happening as well, right? You're able to start really kind of seeing that. And so now, you know, that when it starts curving up, it starts pulling it back up because we've seen where it really wasn't looking like that, right? We've seen where it really wasn't manifesting and playing out for us. So now, as we look at this, okay, we did not have confluence. So my stochastic is pulled back down. My green candle is not there. This is actually red, okay, because I'd be looking for something green. And these candles are not pulling back enough. So even if my stochastic would have been up, GBP has so much liquidity that I can drop down to the 30 to analyze it. Well, that technically would not be there. And because that's technically not there, we cannot drop down to the 30. Understand, with things that have a lot of liquidity, and as far as Forex pairs are concerned, that's GBP. I'm not talking about your exotics and all of that stuff right now. We're not training on that right now. I'm talking about your GBP. When you start learning how to trade, you want to trade with some, you know, obviously I pull up GBP a lot. That should kind of give you an indication that I like GBP. But I've also heard people that don't like it because of how much it moves and they like something smooth like AUD. So you're going to find what fits you. You're going to find what fits your style. You're going to find what you can move with because everybody has their thing that they love. And so, but I'm showing you this because I've had that question. Well, GBP, well, can I just drop down? No, you cannot just drop down. It has to give you something. It has to say something. It has to give you some sort of indication that you can drop down. And we did not have that. So once that pullback ultimately finished right here, right? Once that pullback finished, now you can see where I marked it so we wouldn't have to switch back down where this is actually pulling up into a buy, okay? And that's, so here, I mean, and this one is just beautiful because we have the candles, right? We have the stochastic, we have our candles, flat bottom, and we have a PSAR. It's just beautiful. And if we look up here, you can kind of see where we started to curve. Now, I'm just trying to give you big picture to market. But for my one-on-ones and my beginners, what you're looking for is that blue line cross over the red, green candle flat bottom PSAR flip. Then you want to do your time frame confluence. Time frame confluence is so very important. All right. We just checked the hour. Now I want to come down to my 5 minute. My 5 minute needs to still be buying. Okay. We know that this is not what we took the trade. So I'm going to take that one off. This needs to still be buying. All right. So as you can see, this one is buying, right? It's still buying. Over here, it was still selling. That's why I was like, let me check real quick. Let me bounce over there real quick. And obviously you're hitting a little pullback or something, but I need you to have patience, 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 and ride it out, right? So some of you all might already be in profit. So let me see. It just depends on when you got in there. Could I show the PSAR flip one more time? Absolutely. So as far as the PSARs go, right? As far as PSARs, let me widen this up just a little bit. The 3 indicators that are used. I have my, this is my stochastic Hikanashi candles. They are trend candles, okay? And these dots, you see these dots? there's a dot associated with every move. So there's a dot underneath or below every candle. So there's a dot, there's a dot, there's a dot, there's a dot, right? Though that is the PSAR. It's called a parabolic stop and reversal. What that means in a nutshell is it's a trailing stop loss. It moves with you. What that means in a nutshell is the market is telling you where your stop loss goes. So the market can see, I don't know how to, I've never attempted to change the color on it though. So that's why I try to make it bigger. So let me just make it bigger. Maybe you can see it. You see the dots here? That's why I say dot, because it can be faint. It's called a PSAR. Here it's a SAR, but over here it's a dot, right? So, this is what that is. So those are the dots that are right there. And so this is the market telling you how far out that momentum should go, like how far out you should put that stop loss. And you notice that as we move along, the dots are beneath it, but then as you get a little bit wider, the dots are actually on top of it now. So when we say PSAR flip, it's literally just flipping from the bottom to the top, or it's gonna flip from the top to the bottom, right? And that's what you're looking for. So that's like the market giving you that momentum push. So, all right. Now this is an indication right here. We're gonna be working with your pip reaction time, because some of you all, like I say, this is already covered where it's wick down to before we had a slight pullback about 14 pips. So now this should kind of give you an indication of what your pip reaction time is. So if you're in a blue, depending on how much you're in the blue, that should give you some sort of indication, because now we have a little pullback of what your pip reaction time is, right? So just patience, we're still moving. It just hit a support line, and that's ultimately why it's pulling back a little bit, okay? So just to kind of show you what's going on. So we've hit the right amount of pips, but this is why, right? This goes with the education. This is why we stress and we talk to you about learning support and resistance as your lifeline, all right? I want you to learn those as your lifeline. And I say that because even we say take the trade to your very first support and resistance line, right? Trade to your first support and resistance line. When you trade to that first support and resistance line, that could be your take profit. So it's 10 pips and cash out, or your first support and resistance line. Understanding that, because I can get more pips, I can get more than 10 pips. But where have we learned that the market's going? It's going to that first support and resistance line. And that's really going to help you, with the skill set and as you continue to develop. It's not such thing as a good pip reaction time. It's no such thing as that. Your pip reaction time is yours. It's understanding your pip reaction time and adjusting accordingly. So for example, like that's a good question though. So for those of you all who don't know what pip reaction time is, it's a word I made up. So I'm gonna just use this space right here, for example. Right here, we'll use this. So my first support and resistance line would have been somewhere up in here, okay? We know that would have been in here. So I'm gonna show you this. So this moved a duration of 48, 44 pips or what have you. So when you're taking a trade, okay, how long does it take you to get in a trade? And a little thing that I did when I started trading to really help with that is I would do my market execution, because that's how most people start, is market execution. Then I would do my market execution, then I would modify and do my take profit and stop loss. I would not try to enter those numbers while I was doing my trade, because that's going to impact how long it takes you to get in a trade. Because market execution is bam, right now I'm in a trade. Right now I need to be in a trade. That's what market execution is. So I wouldn't take the time to put in that take profit and that stop loss, because it's going to take more time. Then I would just modify it and add it. And then that also kind of helps you with making sure you put your numbers in right. It's not going to accept it if you put them in wrong. So now what a pip reaction time is like, so let's say right here, I think an average might be, so like, let's say if you did it right there, then it took you 13 pips. So like, let's say when you looked on your MetaTrader 4, and this is the price that you see, then that's how long it took you to get in a trade. So from where this trade executed to down here, it took you 13, 14 pips to get into that trade. So I've seen some that's right up in here, right? It's taking you a while to get in that trade. So now you might be about 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I've seen some people that do it this far. And you're not going to get 10 pips. You might not get 10 pips if that's you. So if you're one of those individuals that's like, why is it that every time I take a trade, I can't get my 10 pips, but I see 777 in the chat? Well, that's because of your pip reaction time. So when you start understanding, let me trade to my first support and resistance line, one person, why do you think I don't say you got 10 pips? You got 12 pips, right? When I pull a ruler, I do that because I say around and about, because that's around and about 27 right there. This ruler says 27, but somebody got 27. Somebody got 20. Somebody got 15. So you have to be okay with walking away because it's based on your pip reaction time. So it's not necessarily what's good. Of course, it'll get better. The more you do it. Perfect practice makes perfect. Like it'll get faster. Not, but when you understand what you're doing, then you walk away. And it's all about understanding. And that kind of feeds into what we're talking about tonight. And that's why I really wanted to kind of dive in and take a little bit of time to kind of walk you guys through that. So now let's go ahead and look at this. And so I want you to understand market. So if I look at this, right, I pull back here, I look at the big picture, okay? This is the big picture of the market. All right, I'm gonna move to stochastic because I want you to see market, okay? Before we start analyzing, before we start doing anything, this is the market, all right? Now, why are we using a harmonic scanner? Why are we using that? Well, let's talk about that for a moment. The harmonic scanner is reversal patterns, okay? Those are reversal patterns. So what is it that the market does, okay? What is it that the market does? The market does 3 things, but technically 4, and I'm gonna explain that. It goes up, it goes sideways, it goes down, and it goes sideways again. That's it. That's what the market does. So the market goes sideways, it goes up. It didn't have much sideways here. It comes down and it goes sideways. So these are actually what we call phases in the market, okay? These are what we call phases in the market. So you have your accumulation phase, which is at the bottom, right? So if we're at the bottom, this is our accumulation phase, okay? If it's rising, that's advancing, right? That's an upward trend. Now, that's not a good sideways at the top, but I'm gonna just do it anyway. So when it's going sideways, because it quit making those higher highs, well, like if it's in a range up here, do we have one over here? So like if it's in a range at the top or something, that's the distribution phase, right? So that's a range toward the top. And then when it's declining, this is that downward trend, okay? So that's what the market does. That's what it does. So it goes sideways, it goes up, it goes sideways, it goes down. How do you know when to get in a trade? Well, what do we always tell you? The trend is your friend. So this is market, right? This is market. And you're able to see that when we look at this. Why is the BYOB cash out strategy so accurate? Well, because it uses what we call areas of value. And so those areas of value that a price action trader will look for. So a price action trader is somebody who doesn't use anything, no indicators, just straight naked candles, and that's what they're looking for, just naked candles on the chart, and they're just using price and things like that. That's a price action. They're using price and the action of the market to take a trade. That might be around 60% accuracy rate, right? Or 60, 70, what have you, but that's what we are. But when you add those areas of value that they look for, which is your moving averages, which is in your stochastic trend, we have a trend candle, and then the PSAR, which is my PSAR, which is that trailing stop loss. That that's that support and resistance that kind of trails with the market. So this is why the strategy works so well and why it's so accurate. So here I am looking at market. Now, another thing that IM has is multiple tools. But how can I effectively utilize the tools? Remember, big picture tells me what the market's doing. Big picture tells me what the market's doing. It's my lower time frames where the action and activity happen, but they don't control anything, right? They can't tell me anything, they cannot guide me in any direction. And so it's always important to understand what you're doing and understand the market. And this is why we're marking this up. So the harmonic scanner focuses on those reversal patterns. And I'm gonna pull them up in just a moment. But when we're looking at that, and we're looking at these reversal patterns, so when I'm coming here, let me move this. I want you to see what I'm showing you. When I'm looking at this, okay, and like, let's say, let me put this trend on here, come in here. Let me just do it like this so you guys can kind of get a glimpse of what I'm talking about. So you can see where this has been moving up. And then of course, well, we've trained on it and we'll do it again. It's fine. What is it doing? It's moving down, right? And so we're gonna ultimately break that as well. So don't talk about my trend lines tonight. I'm trying to make more of a point than I am of analyzation. So now, when we're looking at this, okay, it's going up, then it comes back and it turns around. We need it to break and it's going to go back up, right? It breaks that trend line and it comes back up. So this is what the market's doing. So in this, right, in here, you'll have a reversal pattern, right? And down here, whenever the market turns around, you're going to have a reversal. And here is a reversal pattern. Anytime the market turns around, there is a reversal pattern. This looks like it's forming a reversal pattern in a little while, right? So you can do it with 2 touches. So you can do it with 2 touches. So of course, more than 2 are better, but you can do it with 2. You can start seeing it. And so those are those reversal patterns. So now why is it that I pull on the hour of the harmonic scanner? Because my higher time frames give me guidance. So if you're looking in the lower time frames, right, on my lower time frames, when I drop down, you're going to have reversal patterns in there as well. So what's a reversal pattern, right? So if I'm in this buy right here, right, this is what we call a correction, right? All of these are my corrections: impulse, correction, continuation, the market's correction, right? Continuation, correction. So in here, the lower time frames will signal reversal patterns. And so they might be a reversal pattern, but it's a correction on a higher time frame, right? It's a correction on a higher time frame. It's a correction on a higher time frame. So I don't want to put you in, when I'm trying to educate you or teach you, the harmonic scanner is definitely not something I'm going to do from a lower time frame, all right? It's just definitely not something I'm going to pull from on a lower time frame. And so that is to really just kind of help you understand that the bigger picture, the higher time frames is what I'm looking for, okay? So that's market. That's what we should be learning. That's what we should be focused on. And that's really going to guide you and take you to what you're looking for. And so when I come back, and this is why, when I come back and I have a few of them pulled up. And let's just kind of look at this for a moment. All right, so some of the tools, right? Now, if I'm looking at this, can I see market? Yes, but they're giving you this information, right? I can see it, but they're giving you the information. But what have you learned? Okay, are you learning how? Can I come change this? Can I change it? Or can I just click here, right? So you always want to bring it back because you can control the narrative and the vibrato. So when I'm looking here, and look, so they have one on the 15th, but so it's like 1 or 2 trades a day, right? But you have, even if I'm there, this is saying entry, stop loss, take profit, but how do I know how to take that trade? So it's so important for you to understand that. Even here, like, do you know how to take the trade on every single one of these tools? And then this is just like, look, this is a minute. What can a minute tell you? What is a minute? So when I look at it right here, doesn't it almost look the same? It almost looks just like what we're looking at. But now that you understand the market and understand I'm on a minute time frame, is this really going to have any control over the guidance of the market? So no matter how great a tool might be or how much you love a tool, you have to understand how to utilize it. You cannot bypass the importance of the education and the importance of understanding why it's important to understand why you need to know what you're doing. So now these do not have pivots or pivots. Okay, you got a good question. What's the difference in the pivots on a scanner and the pivots on a vibrato? One, pivots are pivots, but these are more pivots. So now obviously you're gonna have that one in the middle. You're gonna have that one in the middle. Let me come up here. as the colors. So let me, obviously you're gonna have that one in the middle. And so when you're looking here, okay, the one in the middle is the pivot point. But how many pivots do we work with? Are what? 1, 2, and 3. This is why the education is important. So R1, 2, and 3, S1, 2, and 3. So the way this is designed is just to kind of push you from point to point. So there are other ones in there. Also, what do we often do? We follow the pivots, right? We follow the pivots. Where are my pivots from yesterday? Where are my pivots from before? What about switching time frames? Can I see where they are when I switch time frames? What can I see? Or how do I know where to stop the trade? How do I know where to get in the trade, right? Then obviously these would be overbought, oversold areas that are negative, but it's important, just like, for example, you hear many people say, like, let me come, I think I took them off, or I think I took it all off. So, but you'll hear, like when we're talking about US 30, right? You'll hear many individuals say, oh, for 100 points, they'll say I caught 1,000 pips. Or for 50 points, they say, oh, I caught 500 pips. We have you watch financial news. Tell me, have you ever heard on Bloomberg, they tell you that you got 100 pips or 500 pips when you caught 50 points? You don't. It just sounds good. So this is about being properly educated. That's what this is about. You're going to make sure you're properly educated. You're right, you don't. So we're going to make sure you're properly educated. And as long as you're properly educated, because you want to know what you're talking about, right? You always want to know what you're talking. It sounds good. And we're not here for whoopla and rah-rah. We're here to make sure you're educated, because whoopla and rah-rah is not going to build your bank account. It's not going to build your wealth. And you're here to be your own bank. That's what you're here for. All right. So now when I look at the scanner actually is a reversal pattern. But once again, I cannot change this information. I cannot change these things. Okay. And so just like, so when you go do your homework, so now let's talk about your homework. Let's talk about your homework. All right. So when you go do your homework, I don't have any 777s yet before I do that. Do I have any 777s? Somebody should be in property, but that's okay. So we're almost there. So I have it up. I see it moving still. So now, as I look at it, right, and I'm seeing here, and when now I just explained to you why I don't pull from here. All right, why I don't pull from here, why I pull from the hour. Can I do 10 pips and cash out on the hour? Absolutely. So, oh, you're like, I'm not even in that trade. I'm in a different one. So when you do your 10 pips and cash out, you can still do this from here. You can take this information. I just firmly believe, because I've seen it happen with people that I've been training and individuals that I've been working with, I've seen it. I just firmly believe that if you begin to understand how the market moves, and this is a good tool to incorporate, to bring this back over here and incorporate it to where you can kind of see what it is you're looking for. So let me, 777, there they go. They're coming in now. So let me cut the pivots off, and so we can kind of show you what I'm talking about. All right. So let me move this over here. So now we have GBP USD, right? And you see all of them are triggering for a buy. So but I'm not, right? We're not taking it over here. Once again, we're going to take it back to the vibrato and analyze it. Now, what I want you to notice that each one of these are different types of harmonic patterns, okay? Each of them are different types of harmonic patterns. So the most popular harmonic patterns, right? The most popular harmonic patterns are your Gartley, your butterfly, your bat, and your crab. You see, we always have a lot of those. Now, a lot of those. Those are the most popular. Now, your crab, just for your knowledge base, when you're coming here to decide some of them to help you begin your educational journey, the crab is considered one of the most precise, okay? You guys see, I pull all of them. I don't matter. It doesn't matter to me because we're going to analyze it, okay? Then you also notice if I pick one that's on the shark, I have 2 entry points, okay? My sharks always have 2 entry points. So I'm not concerned with that. But I mean, not concerned from that perspective, but if you look at it, all this is about, right? All this is about is about like here, you can see why this one will have 2 entry points. Well, it's just kind of how it calculates. It's at like this D level and it comes here. All of this is based on Fibonacci levels, okay? So Fibonacci levels. Fibonacci is, if Fibs is explained in the academy in detail. So, you know, but it's all based on Fib levels. But what I want you to understand is that because it's a reversal pattern, basically the Fibs is just a percentage of the amount of pullback, or the percentage of where it's at, that's really gonna kind of get you to that point. But you notice that we always adjust it. We make it to what we're looking for. But you notice how it's gonna, basically it's gonna attempt that take profit 3 is going to attempt to close out that harmonic pattern, okay? That's what that does. And so, but we don't blindly take this. This is not a standalone tool. It's not a harmonic pattern is not standalone. You cannot just see, oh, this is where it said enter, let me go. You have to analyze it and make sure it's going to play out. But because it's a reversal pattern, that's something that can ultimately help you with understanding, you know, how to begin to learn how to develop, how to read the market, right? That's what it ultimately can do. And so you can definitely see, you know, how this is moving, how we took all 3 profits here, but the point I was making out with the crabs is that you have 2 entry points, but you're not going, you notice that I never pull an entry point, okay? But I know somebody's asked it, somebody's going to ask it, and somebody will think it next week. But I just want you guys to really understand what it is. I don't pull the entry points because I don't want you focused on that. I want you focused on the education. I want you focused on coming back to mark up your charts. Also, even though they're Fibs, they're still support and resistance lines. So for those of you all who are still learning how to do your support and resistance lines, coming back and what the homework is, part of the first part of the homework, see, homework happened in 2 phases. So the first part of the homework was for you all to come over here and treat this like these are the answers in the back of the book. So like, let's say before you start analyzing to actually take a trade, I'm gonna look at this and now I'm on GBP USD or I'm on GBP NZD because that's the one I have right there. I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna go to GBP NZD. I'm going to mark up the chart where I believe my support and resistance lines are, put it on my line chart, right? Put it on my line chart. And when I put it on my line chart, then I can definitely just look at this and see where they fall and mark my chart up. Put it back on my Hikanashi candles. Line charts are closing prices. So because it's closing prices, you can see it a little bit more clearly. And so because of that, then when I come back over here and I look at this, I can, you know, now you balance your answers with what's here. Treat this like the answers in the back of the textbook. That's what I want you guys to do. Treat it like the answers in the back of the textbook. And so you go check your answers. So it's a check on learning. If you go cheat, then who are you cheating? You're cheating yourself. I'm trying to get you to where you really understand how to draw the support and resistance. The shark has 2 entry points. The shark does, but it's all just based on how the Fibs fall. But I never really give you, but the reason why I mention it and I kind of pay attention is like, for example, you know, when I'm looking at it, you know, I'm analyzing. So I teach you guys to enter the trade basically when it's ready, when you analyze it. But sometimes it can help you understand that it might not be done pulling down. It might not be done because you're in that learning phase. You're in that phase where you're starting to try to see the market. So, and when we're on our profit calls, I never write down the entry points. I just know how to do the support and resistance because I've gotten to that point. But for you all, as you're learning it, right, you can just kind of come here and you can analyze with all of these so you can see, like, this says entry, then what it's telling me now, this has adjusted. I will tell you that this has adjusted. They will adjust. So my entry point has moved down because remember on this morning's call, when we were looking at these and even on both of these, and I told you guys we marked this up because I said it has the potential to pull down some more before it begins to pull up. Well, that's actually what happened, right? That's what happened. It has not begun to move up. It has definitely, you know, it has definitely not manifested to where we would be able to just jump in and take that trade. So does that make sense? Questions, comments, testimonies, questions, comments, testimonies. Drop it in the chat. Questions, comments, testimonies. If you have any, drop it in the chat. And we'll definitely answer your questions. So, but that's what this is, okay, guys? That's what this is. So now the homework is for you to mark up the charts, because patience, profit, perfect practice, right? Perfect practice makes perfect. So we're educating you right now on how to see what to do, how the market's going to move. And so these are the things that we want you to be able to see. And this is why you're marking up these charts and dropping it in the chat. That's like an accountability check that you did it. And I'm gonna start, and I'm paying attention. You know, I'm paying attention. So I'm paying attention. Phase 2, as far as help me out. Thank you so much. Now the puzzle pieces are coming together. I'm excited. I want all of you all to have that clarity. So it's really like, so let me ask you this. When you mark up the charts, are you analyzing it, looking for those entry points? You know, you're very welcome for the homework. Are you analyzing it, looking for those entry points and, you know, to be able to take a trade? And is it helping you take the trades? That's what I want to know. You know, is it helping you with that? Yes, so I got a yes. I only have one yes. Oh, okay. I'm like, what? So I told you sometimes I think it's a delay on here. There is, because it's like, no, it'll be one and then I'll get like 50 all at once, right? So it's just like so it's like that little awkward pause. So it's, I don't know why I feel like it's a delay in my chat, but that's what happens. So, but yeah, so basically that's what it's doing. So now it's getting you comfortable to where you're getting out of that. So yes, that's because you're focused. Absolutely. So yes, I want you to mark up starting with the hour, because even if, like, for example, let's look at this. Let's talk about this for a minute. So this one we marked up for an hour. Good question. So this one we marked up on the hour, right? And so I explained at the beginning why, right? I don't want you focused on reversal patterns and corrections. If you don't know that you're in a correction, if you don't know if you're in a correction, then how do it's more encouraging to know, like, the hour might be a correction for like the 4 or the daily. If I'm in a correction on a daily, I mean, think about it, we're always in a correction on something. So the 4 hour might be in a correction from the monthly. You know what I mean? So you're always in a correction on something. However, a 15-minute correction is much more impactful than, me paying, because they're reversal patterns. And so it might be caught in a correction. So if I'm on a 15-minute chart, taking a trade on a 15-minute chart, and that's a correction to the hour, that might only be 10 pips. That might only be 30 pips. It might be 5. You just don't know, right? You just don't know. And so the hour, I mean, look at this, from this ride up to this ride down, because we've been looking at some of these for a while. We've been watching them like trigger back and forth. That's 286 pips, right? That's 286 pips. That's what that move was. And so this move back up is the same. And so actually it's more because of where the third take profit would be. So, that's 480 pips. So the point I'm getting to is, no matter what your trading style is, if you're a long-term trader, you're looking for that. You're going to set that, let it go. You might not come back to the end of the week, but at the end of the week, you have 480 pips. We've literally seen these play out where it's played out in a day, and some of them have played out in a week, right? We've seen it happen. You just don't know how long it's going to take because it's conditions of the market, but you want to jump in at the right time. Then let's say you're intraday. You might only do take profit 1. Hey, I got 50, I have 50 pips, I'm comfortable, I'm walking away. I'm looking for another trade. That might be you. Fantastic, right? And then you might be my scalpers, where you're like, you know what? I know we're going up. I'm gonna scalp this thing all the way up, right? I'm gonna scalp it all the way up. So just looking at the one that's already transpired, if I drop down to my 15, from where it started, right? So no matter what your trading style is, you can use this. I pull it from the hour, but I can still trade on the 15, if that's making sense to you. I pull it from the hour, but I can, now that I have it marked up and I look at it, I can come over here and I'm on my 15-minute chart because that's my trading style. I can come here, right? And when I look at that, right, I can come there and I look at this, then I'm looking, let's just mark a couple up because it's impulse correction, continuation, right? Impulse correction, continuation, right, for this sell. And I'm gonna tell you this. And that will happen right there. So let me tell you this. So this on the 15th. But when I come up here and do my confluence, right? I'm in a sell, I'm in a sell, I'm in a sell. Now you notice, let's talk about this one for a minute, right? So I know when I could do my 10 pips and cash out or to my first support and resistance line. This one triggered as well. I'm still in the sell. I'm in a sell. I'm in a sell, right? I'm in a sell. We're making money in a sell. We're making money in a sell. However, this is the question I get all the time. This is that question. Here's that question. Well, guess what, Ms. Dyer? It's not at the 80. Well, if you're new to this and you're still learning, guess what? You're not taking this trade. You're not doing it. If your skill set has advanced, then you understand that the trade is technically on the higher time frame, right? And I'm still within that downward momentum. So this is simply a correction. That's what this is. But if you don't know it's a correction and you haven't learned the market, you don't touch it. Your trades would be this one and this one, right? And if you begin to identify with that, then your trades will be this one, and this one. So hopefully that brings some clarity, because I get that, I think, every single time. If I say take a trade and call it and it looks like this, somebody's going to tell me, but it's not at the 80. Well, now you know why. Now you know why. So, and then we put our pivots on here and we already know, look at how our pivots are moving down. Look at what we are now, right? Look at what we are. And so look at what we are. And so then of course, you know, where those pivot points at, now we're down here coming up around the S2. All right, guys. So hopefully you guys have some clarity. You know, hopefully you guys, you know, definitely should be walking with some clarity and understanding tonight. Now you know why you're doing the homework, because you know what's going to happen. When you grasp this and you master this, I can guarantee you, and I want you to call me on it, I can guarantee you're going to start walking out with, you're going to start with about $50 days. You're going to start with like $100 days. And that's going to be because you're compounding, you're increasing your lot size, but you're trusting your analysis and you're able to ride those trades out. And once you start doing that, it's nothing stopping you. Going 50, 100. What's a $200 a day? What's a, oh, I need something. I want to go buy something. Let me just go pull it out of the market. You know, the market should be your ATM card. That's what the market is. The market is your ATM card. But in order to do it, you need your PIN number, right? In order to use your ATM card, you need your PIN number, right? So if my PIN number is my skill set. My PIN number is me understanding it. And you know what to do and where to do it. So the market is your ATM card. And so just make a withdrawal from the market. If you need something, go get it. But at the same time, you have to understand how to use it. You can't just look at the machine. You have to know where to put it in the machine at. You have to understand how to pull it out. You have to understand what buttons to push. And that's actually what we're doing now. We're analyzing, we're learning, and you're making this your ATM. Don't forget, it's $6.6 trillion a day. You know, how much do you need? Go get it. All right. So let's prep for a very profitable